Hello, White Knight. I am so excited for this year and for all the success and momentum that we're having right now. It's going to be a great year. I wanted to review with each of you the pricing for 2024 and a lot of the different bundles that we have, the regular prices, the impact on contract values, and etc. And even things like termites and German roaches and a lot of different things that people are asking about. And so I just wanted to create some clarification and create this video so that way we can refer back to it. So real quick, the first thing I wanted to discuss was just the regular reoccurring price. So currently, there's a group of people, like groups of reps that prefer to sell quarterly, and other groups of reps that prefer to sell bi-monthly. At White Knight, we give you the option to sell either program, and so there's benefits to both. One of the benefits to bi-monthly is some reps feel like they can get a higher contract value than they can on the quarterly. Some people on the quarterly feel like they can get a higher contract value than they can on the bi-monthly. So it just kind of depends on the preference, but we give you the option. Um, there's the benefit of bi-monthly that can sometimes, the concept of selling the homeowner that we're coming out a little bit more frequently to get rid of bugs. Some reps also prefer the quarterly in that they can say we come out once per season, and it becomes a little more simple, especially through the winter months, to get that to go through, and sometimes retention can be reflected there. So either way is fine with me. Whatever your preference, whatever can help you get more sales is what we want at White Knight. So bi-monthly, quarterly are both options. On the bi-monthly, so typically again on the initial service before we discount it down, usually the default is going to be between $300 and $400 in your respective office, and so then you obviously have that ability to discount down the initial program or the initial service in order to help that customer sign up for the year. And the initial, you have the flexibility to go all the way down to $1. Okay, now some regions and some offices, some sales teams have their salespeople where they can only go down to $39, and some say $69, and I leave that up to the individual office and sales manager. And there are big benefits, big ones, to doing a higher initial, because what I found is, and what we have found is, if the customer pays us a minimum of $120 total, then your retention is typically going to be over 90% over the course of that year. So if you can get them to pay over $120 on the first treatment, most likely the homeowner has enough money to pay for pest control, and you're going to have less cancellations. If you're going into the service with it being $1, that is a much more high risk account, and you will, if you had 100 sales where the initial was $1 and 100 sales where the initial was $120, I'll take the 120 all day long. You'll have like much better retention, probably as much as 20% better retention if you sell the account with a higher initial as compared to a lower initial. And so, but as far as from a policy standpoint, we give a lot of flexibility on pricing, and so don't do a free initial. We do want to verify payment, and we need to verify that we have a credit card on file, and so at least $1. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing $1. It should be the rare exception, but that's the minimum, right? On the quarterly treatment schedule, also we give a lot of flexibility. There's teams right now, and I'll give a shout out to like in Minnesota, where they're doing 175 to 199 or even sometimes more on the quarterly. And so they're selling it for high contract value, which is awesome, and homeowners are receiving a great service, and so there becomes a great benefit there. As far as the lowest a person can go on a quarterly, where they're not going to get a flag from the office saying that this is not a valid sell, as far as getting commission on that account, the lowest a person can go is $99. So if you call your manager and you've been in the local office, and you're like, let's say that local manager, that sales manager that recruited you or that's overseeing that team, and let's say that they say that the lowest you can go is 150, and then you were to call them and say, can I get permission on this one account to go lower, and they give that permission, the sales manager has a little flexibility to approve that or deny that, and then from a company perspective, we're going to still pay on that account as long as it's $99 or more. And so, again, that doesn't mean we want accounts at $99. It's just telling you that you'll still get credit for the account if it's at least $99. But we want them the higher the better, so that way you can make more money, the technicians will make more money, and the default of that is that they're going to probably do even a better job because they get paid based on how much you sell that account for. And so bi-monthly, same idea. Lowest you can go is 75 to get credit. Most offices are selling it for over like $99 or higher per bi-monthly service. And so again, contract values do impact commission. We want you to make as much money as possible, but just if you if you end up doing a $59 bi-monthly, it just becomes an office sale. It doesn't I mean, you can do it, but you just won't get paid on those. Okay, so I just want to create the policy or the rule: $75 or higher is a bi-monthly, $99 or higher is a quarterly, and again, those are the bare minimums to get paid. What the general rule should be is much higher than those minimums, and so um, if you're in a habit of selling at the minimum, I definitely think you can increase that up, and you can make a lot more money. And so there's lots of people selling contract values that are 800, 900, and even over $1,000. And a $99 quarterly is only 400 plus whatever you charge for the initial, so maybe 450 or under 500. So there's room for improvement on some of those situations on making more money. Again, I am excited to grow. I love the sales. So if you like to give that customer the lowest possible the price, so that way they have a better value, I understand that, and we'll run with that for you and support you. But I also can just see the value in charging more because the inflation has happened. We pay more for everything right now than what we used to, and $99 a quarter was what we charged like in 2003, 2004. And so 20 years later, I know that the customer and the market will allow for some inflation on pest control, and we've seen that especially over the last 5 years, where the average contract values used to be 400 to 500. Now, as late as last year, they were almost in the upper 600s or even 700, and this year we're seeing the averages be even in the 800, 900,000 range. And so anyway, keep up the good work, guys. I just wanted to get this out on the reoccurring general pest control or our Platinum Shield program. As far as what those prices are, I will do another video on the other items. Thank you.